Nothing worse than having a sausage in there when you expect ham.
All right, we are now live in the 605 with Corruption Investigation Agency. My other YouTube channel is The Copperazzi. All right, so I am at the Turner County Sheriff's Office, aka the Tyrant Turner County Sheriff's Office. And we have a sheriff-elect, Dan Glover, aka, which I like to call him, Dinky Dick Dan. He's got no balls. Apparently he's got tiny manhood. I was over here 27 days ago with dignity and respect. He had the same during our conversation on July 17th, 2026. And May 25th, 2026, Memorial Day, 5 days before my birthday, which, whatever's easiest to remember, I guess. One of his newest deputies, I didn't see any chevrons on the uniform, so I'll refer him to deputy at that time, but now he is a sergeant. I did confirm that for the Tyrant Turner County Sheriff's Office. His name is Grayson Lass, Lass, Lincoln Adam Sam would be the spelling of the last name. Grayson would be common spelling. He went over to my neighbor's house for a call. It was a non-emergent call. My neighbor called me over there, and I had my firearm on my hip, visible, even though I could have concealed it without any issues. Anyway, he tried kicking me off her property, my neighbor's property, who was on oxygen. She's handicapped, and invited me over. Stand by for 1 second here. I apologize. I did mute that because there was possible information that I didn't want to disseminate to the general public. Where was I? So, anyway, deputy at the time, May 25th, 2026, went over to my neighbor's house. Again, she's an elderly, handicapped, on oxygen. Requested me to come over there because she didn't feel safe. I did have my firearm in visible sight. I could have easily, again, hit it, which is totally legal here in South Dakota, without permit. He decided he was going to try to kick me off the property that I was invited on, which is private property. And then from that point, I told him I am not leaving. The neighbor requested me over there, and I will go ahead and go through the other door. So therefore, there wasn't going to be any issues between him and I. I've taken de-escalation, unlike some of the law enforcement here in Turner County. I'm muted again. We got somebody else. All right, I apologize. Every time I get to where I'm at, the door has to come open again, and I want to respect the privacy of other people. But
Get that one off. Which side were we on? I can't even remember.
so the
Yeah, I mean, I can see like when
deputy was trying to kick me off her property. I go in the other door to de-escalate because I already read him
Let's get that one off.
in his escalation, not de-escalation
New prescription
attitude.
while we're getting y'all cleaned up.
And yeah, so I just went in through the front door while he was at the back door. I let my neighbor know that
We could take it.
I haven't been here in like.
there's a deputy out there,
Yeah.
and she said, let him in. And I was like, all right. So I let him in the back door. He tried following me to the front door, and I opened the back door. I said, come on in. She's waiting for you. And first thing he did was he told me hands on the wall. And I said, what for? And then he raised his voice at me, hands to the wall. I'm disarming you. I posed no threat towards the man. Posed no threat.
Kinda got the hair squeezed out.
And so from that point, he radioed in that I was not cooperating.
Right?
So he was calling backup because I was not cooperating.
Oh, we need the mailing bag yet.
And so I said, "Fuck it. I'm not gonna make my neighbor have any stress issues more than she already has." So I just put my hands on the wall, let him disarm me, violate my Second and Fourth Amendment rights of the United States of America, and then the same rights that he swore to uphold. And then towards the end of that call, he walks out of my neighbor's home and tells, or no, let's change that a little bit. He hands me my gun without the magazine after he cleared it, and then went inside. So he still had the magazine on him that goes to my gun. He gave that to my neighbor while he was inside. And then on his way out, that's when he told me that he gave my magazine to my neighbor. So if I want it, I can go get it. He had no rights handing the magazine to my firearm to my neighbor, who is handicapped, on oxygen, can barely move. That was not within protocol. I ended up talking to the sheriff-elect, which again, this guy right here, Dan Glover, who I call Dinky Dick Dan because he doesn't believe in transparency. I talked to him about it, letting him know that his deputy violated my Second and Fourth Amendment right. Without even doing a Terry pat-down search, y'all. Without doing a Terry pat-down search. He just took my gun, didn't pat me down, and if I had any other magazines on me, he had no idea. He didn't do a pat-down. If I had a knife on me, if I had any other weapons on me, he would have no idea. He just wanted my gun to pretend that he had big balls. But he didn't check me for any other weapons.
Did we put those, Marty? You know where the alcohol swabs?
How much sense does that make? If you're going to take a gun off somebody's hip and not pat them down for any weapons, what is the point on disarming somebody? That is how he violated my Fourth Amendment. He took my gun off me. He touched me physically. He deprived me of my own property illegally. Stand by. I got to mute this real quick.
here.
All right, sorry about that. So, yeah, again, he did not pat me down for any other weapons. So I don't know why he would just take my gun and call it a good day.
No, it's the alcohol.
It was flexing his law enforcement muscles. That's all it was.
Every time I come in, it's now you.
Okay.
So I
All right, now we
talked
just gotta
to
let you drive.
I talked to
a
the
little bit.
sheriff, Dan, the sheriff-elect, sorry, Dan, and told him that I could do a federal 1983 lawsuit. And then from that point, Dan was within his rights to tell me that he's not going to comment because I did talk about a lawsuit.
Nothing. 4 days later, I emailed back. I'm like, I didn't get
After
it.
carefully thinking about it, I decided, no,
And one guy goes,
I'd rather use this as a learning experience rather than a lawsuit. Because I'm not after the money. I don't care about the money of a lawsuit.
If there's another email, I should be sending
Um,
it to me to let me know because I need.
I
an
came back
answer not
here
3
to
days
this
later, but
same
like,
office that I'm in right now
the same day.
on July 17th, 27 days ago. And I think Dan and I had a cordial conversation. When I asked if Dinky was in, he popped right up. And him and I had a very cordial conversation that day. And then I didn't hear from him within the 27 days when he took down my name and number and all that good jazz, said he'll be in contact with me. He's going to talk to Grayson Lass
And phone number associated with the card.
and see if we can schedule a meeting per my request. I'm still yet to hear from Dinky about that meeting. I come in again today, 27 days later, and Dinky comes in here like he's Billy Badass, like he's all of 6'5", 6'8",
So this is the one.
8'4", whatever,
For the new one?
No, for
but
the old one.
he's
Oh,
barely
okay.
5 foot tall,
This will be the new.
These will be these medications.
and
Okay, so today is.
but his title really has his ego pretty high and mighty, but his balls have even shrunk more.
And I'm the observer.
Most of the deputies here are washouts from other departments, other agencies.
Appear to be tampered?
Um, Grayson Lass,
No. Of medication. Okay.
he's a washout from Union County, South Dakota. He was fired from that county. Megan, I'm trying to remember what her last name is right off the top of my head. I don't remember right off the top of my head. But she's a washout from Sioux Falls Police Department. I don't know if she got fired or if she quit because the job was too hard for her. I don't know the stipulations with her. But all I know is she's a Sioux Falls, South Dakota washout.
Perfect.
Dan almost got fired from Turner County until Sheriff Jamie
So,
resigned.
when did you get those-
Then somehow he got
'cause it says dates used on
the,
whenever you would've started.
position for
Started this one yesterday.
So.
whatever the hell they call that before
And the other
the
one
election.
just started the same day, or-
No, this
I'm going on about 18 hours of no sleep, so sorry if
on the 3rd.
I don't remember some of the wording of certain things, but
For any of them.
I'll keep you all posted. I'll answer whatever questions we need to
There's not gonna know if it's.
to do Dan's job, promote transparency,
Yesterday. Okay. Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
because
I did
Dan
make
doesn't
sure.
want to do transparency.
So, your initials and your.
Hey Dan, you want to talk to
signature.
YouTube or what?
And we'll verify too.
You want to give your comments, Dan? Dinky. Dinky Dick Dan, do you want to talk to these people?
With, and there's the meds, so.
Alright, is that it?
Yeah. Think so, then we
Babe,
initial.
you want to talk to these
so your
people?
Initial.
Don't think babe is a good way either.
And
Being a bitch entirely.
observer is me.
And no balls.
How many times am I gonna look at the date?
So that's what I mean.
Legit. How many times?
He wants no transparency within this community of Turner County. Again, if anybody wants to redress their grievances, don't be a bitch like me. Don't be an ass like me. I don't care. I will take the hit if he tries to falsely arrest me. because that'll be another 1983 lawsuit just awaiting to happen, because it's freedom of speech. It's also First Amendment for redressing my grievances. If you guys want to be polite and let Dinky Dick Dan know how you feel, there's the contact information.
Quick enough. I'm always in such a hurry to grab that.
So therefore,
Okay, let's make sure everything is full.
he can know what you guys think. They're also dispatched by Lincoln County Dispatch. I don't have their number off the top of my head.
Send this to the lab.
I believe it's 605-765-2664 maybe. I don't remember right off the top of my head. But anyway, this is the contact information for Dinky Dick Dan. For anybody that wants to redress grievances.
How do I get it in there?
I tried being as cordial as possible
You know?
as I could. But apparently he doesn't want to be transparent. He doesn't want to have this meeting. He doesn't want to give me the policies, procedures, and protocols
Most people
for
just send it back to the others.
his sheriff's office.
Yeah.
He advised me I need to get a hold of the state's attorney to get that information, which that is not transparency whatsoever. He needs to have that readily available for public inspection. This right here is my squad car. This is what I cop watch with. And I didn't have any issues getting a flash drive from McCook County Sheriff's Office with their policies, procedures, and protocols. That sits in my squad car as we speak. I didn't have to talk to any state's attorney. I didn't have to talk to anybody's bitch.
No kidding.
I requested it through the sheriff of
Oh.
McCook County, Sheriff Norris,
Do we have another?
and it was handed to me
Do we have another? Oh,
without any question.
okay. Did you
That
fill
is
out
true
the-
transparency.
Okay. So. just
But Dinky Dick Dan
see,
doesn't believe in transparency. Anybody in Turner County,
Did I make it worse? Maybe.
he fucked you guys over when you guys voted.
Okay.
He only won by 3 people, 3 votes, and he paid or had people, some of his friends or whatever, vote for him. I don't remember how that was worded, but I heard through various sources. He won by 3 votes. Now, if the other guy would have won, sheriff, there was already a game plan. I would be involved with teaching transparency, with teaching all that good stuff. First Amendment auditors, cop watchers, the whole 9 yards. De-escalation. The academy here in South Dakota, in Pierre, they don't really mess with talking about First Amendment auditors. They don't really mess with talking about cop watchers.
We're right here.
They talk about sovereign citizens. I have been asked by Turner County deputies if I'm a sovereign citizen. Do you guys know what my answer is?
We had.
I don't work for Turner County. I'm definitely not a sovereign citizen.
So, we had to.
That is what
And I said, you know what, when our new ones
my
come in, I'm gonna
definition
put
of
them
sovereign citizen
all over
is.
the place, so that we know if they're expired or not. 'Cause
Be
once
the
it's in
sheriff.
bag,
Be
there was no
Timu
expiration
Sheriff.
I wrote,
Be
and
Dinky
that's
Dick Dan. That is
because
the
there's no
true
expiration.
definition
You have to
of
get
sovereign
the company,
citizen.
Give them these codes, and then they tell you if it's expired or not. It's like
All right,
when
so
you're
as we can
getting
see,
it,
Dinky Dick Dan
expirations, I'm
has
like,
nothing to say to me.
mark all of them. I started writing it, And then I was like,
I asked him
stickers.
when I can get my pistol permit. He said Monday and Tuesdays
Yeah.
from 2 to 4 p.m.
Ours make like the 1x3
Eh.
or whatever.
I caught him in his
But I
bullshit. He didn't
bring
even know
lunch and then I
what he
put
has
them all.
posted
Put
in
'em on
this
there,
office.
so it didn't take very
It's Tuesday and Wednesday 2 to 4 or by appointment. He didn't mention anything about or by appointment. He just said Monday and Tuesday from 2 to 4. And I had that recorded on a different area, and I can also attach that if anybody wants to see him not even know when pistol permits. I mean, not that you have to have one in South Dakota. So yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, Grayson Lass, he didn't even ask me for my ID. But still illegally detained me. That is still considered illegal detainment. Telling me to put my hands up on the wall so he can disarm me. So now I'm actually thinking about federally 1983. I'm being left with absolutely no choice. And things aren't going to go very well for Dinky Dick Dan. I have plenty of witnesses. If they redact anything of body cam footage, they would be messing with the evidence that I'm going to have subpoenaed in. Since Dinky doesn't want to be transparent, I wanted to be cordial about this whole entire thing and teach
It doesn't get as red as that one. Like, is it still red?
him
Well, I've been itching. It
a
feels
learning
so-
experience rather than teach him how to lose a lawsuit real quick.
That's
I wanted to teach him transparency. But apparently
we got all
his
our
4'9" or
Yep.
5'4", whatever ass thinks that he is all high and mighty. He thinks he's hot shit on a silver platter. Guess what? Newsflash, he's cold shit on a paper plate.
All right, 2 weeks.
All right.
2 weeks. We'll see ya.
Say bye, Dinky.
I'm coming out.
Hey, Dinky, I'm gonna take off, so I'm not going to scare your people that need new drug patches and stuff, and I don't want to keep harassing your cordial staff. Does that sound like a plan?
Envelopes that they give us to
Everybody
sign.
on YouTube already knows that you're a fucking bitch. Do I make myself clear? Do I need to spell it out in phonetics for you?
And the small.
Or do you understand?
Because they give us envelopes,
You think you're hot shit on a silver platter?
but I just always figured it cost more.
It would, because
You're cold
then
shit
we
on a
have-
paper plate,
we
babe.
have to buy stamps for these and mail
And it
them.
would be probably more like an
Probably
sending in fingerprints.
$1.29 per to send
Okay.
these would be my guess.
Is he making calls about me?
No, I think he's talking to someone.
Yeah, the phone rang just a little bit ago and he's on. the
But
phone.
I mean, they provide us these envelopes. I hate to throw them out, but I haven't used them because they cost more. But what is the cost difference by the time we buy the envelope do you know what these cost per?
Yeah, because we buy these by bulk, so we
Yeah.
buy these 500. So we paid 69 cents a piece for these
So we get a discount.
because we buy
Does
them
it
by
cost
bulk.
more than that in a stamp for a
Right.
stamp, right?
Yeah, because I just bought that roll of 100 stamps for
$84 or something.
$88 or something. So
So they're 88 cents a piece for a stamp.
as opposed to when you buy them by the roll or buy them pre-selected like that,
Okay.
you get them cheaper.
So it is worth us trying to get it in a small envelope. We're saving money in the end. Okay.
Yeah, if it comes to the point where we can use the postage machine,
Oh, then
Then
that
we
might
could-
be different.
then we could use those.
We'll
send
have
our
to
stuff
look
out.
at that once we're moved up there. That makes sense.
Yeah, but the problem with when you use the postage machine is we gotta use it for everything. Because
Oh,
we're
yeah.
So
going,
y'all, this is a small office, so
Center it.
right. Cause I think when we contract, we have to contract for all our mailing.
Are we gonna have one central location where the mail comes to the, and picks up?
No,
Each office is paying for a PO box, when we could just.
All right, yeah,
Harvard does get mail.
sorry guys, I just want to make sure he wasn't calling his boys with guns because he's too big of a pussy to actually be transparent. And if he was going to call his little bodyguards, I was going to stay here until they got here. Then I was going to put them in check too. But yeah, I'm going to bounce you guys. The bitch in this office don't want to talk to me. So, again, his ego is so small. Ego is totally small. I don't know which is bigger, his ego or his dick. I hear they're both small though. So, alright, you guys. Catch you on the next one. Peace.